5 albums that were given to me as gifts. This is for Steve Carlson. I know I'm late to the party. I missed the deadline. It's now July 1st, but I still wanted to do this, and I apologize for my tardiness. But if you don't know Steve Carlson, then you don't know anything. Steve Carlson's a member of the vinyl community. I'm a part of the member of the vinyl community, which is this YouTube sort of a club group that anyone can join and anyone can participate in. And I've been in here a little over 3 years now, and been fairly lucky that I've had a lot of responses. But one of the early people I jumped onto soon after that was Steve Carlson, one of the nicest guys, maybe the second nicest guy in the vinyl community, maybe third, I don't know. But a year ago, almost a little over a year ago, in the Midwest, his area was flooded, the dam burst, and his records were washed away. At the time, I did a video when we donated some things. We all kind of helped out and pitched in and got him back on his feet through Kickstarter and through donating some records to him. I made a contribution myself, as did many other people. And I should have gave him a copy. I really wanted to. I didn't have an extra copy of They Might Be Giants' great album, Flood, because I think that would have been really appropriate. But there's a link below. If you don't know Steve, watch his Sunday morning shows, watch him, but he wants to thank everyone for the support. And he said, just show 5 albums. He said 4, but I'm doing 5. Actually, there's more than 5, but there's 5 groupings of albums that mean a lot to me, and they were given to me by people, by some very close friends, and all but one of these friends are not around anymore. So there's an emotional element to this showcase, and I know Steve Carlson went through in a very emotional time, and he was a trooper, man. I don't know if I could have handled this being flooded, and I am insured. You should insure your collection if you can, if you have the ability to, at least to get something back. So, and having them in Discogs is something that you should do. I'm about 2/3 of the way having my collection in Discogs, and have I think my insurance is up to the middle period value-wise, which is like more than you'd expect these days, right? So I'm going to start in September 9th, 1967. It was my bar mitzvah in San Francisco, Temple, Judea, which later became Beth Israel, Judea, but that's a story that you don't really care about. I read from the book of Deuteronomy, and my good friend Danny with one N, gave me 3 albums as bar mitzvah gift. He was one of a non-Jewish friend of mine, and he was the lead singer in the band I had since I was 12 years old. The Silencers, and then we became the Overnight Flight. The Silencers, I know there's a later group in the 80s called the Silencers. We were first, based on the Matt Helm movie called The Silencers. And Danny came to my bar mitzvah and gave me these 3 records. And I still have, these are the exact copies. So I just wanted to show them. Danny passed away about 12 years ago, a victim of leukemia. He had a bone marrow transplant, and he survived another 8 years, and then we lost him. And it breaks my heart losing any friends, and as we get old, sometimes this happens. So Danny was the lead singer and guitar player in the band. He was like the Davy Jones, the cute one of the group. And if you watch any of my videos about that, you'll see him in there and singing. But he gave me this great album, Jefferson Airplane, Surrealistic Pillow, that came out earlier that year. I didn't get it until my bar mitzvah, but of course, one of the great records of the Summer of Love, out of San Francisco, one of my favorite bands, and probably my favorite San Francisco band. He gave me this. He gave me this album, which was all over the charts, and I never thought I probably wouldn't have bought the album, but I really, really liked it because I love the single. That's Bobby Gentry's Ode to Billy Joe. This was, everywhere on the charts. So the Tallahatchie Bridge, I hope that's not over the river that flooded Steve Carlson's house, but this great album. And ironically, he gave me this album, which I don't make light of this person at all, believe me, but I just would showcase because it's very topical now. Silver Throat, Bill Cosby sings "A Little Old Man." It's actually quite a good record. It's a singing record, but I'm keeping it in the collection despite all the bullshit and the horrible things that he did. Okay, so my friend Larry passed away 9 years ago, 9 years ago. He was the drummer in my band. So you see where this is going for me, and it's kind of an emotional ride, but these records mean obviously musically a lot to me, but on different layers. And I remember in 1968, Larry gave me this album, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. This is their second album. This is where Al Kooper was out of the group, kind of more of a spiritual advisor, and David Clayton Thomas joined the group, and we, this record became a huge hit. I remember at first I didn't get it. It was very jazzy, and I wasn't really into it at the time, but once it took on, of course, huge hits, Spinning Wheel, God Bless the Child, the Laura Nyro song, and some Eric Satie pieces in here. Wonderful jazz, amazing drumming, amazing arrangements. Just a great, fantastic record. Actually, I now have the Mo-Fi, which I don't usually go for those box Mo-Fi things, but it's fantastic. But this original Columbia just rocks it, and it's just really wonderfully produced, wonderfully recorded. And it's amazing. I mean, this is great that it became such a hit. But Larry gave me this because he was into sort of jazz drumming. He was the drummer, as I said, in the band. But he also was into big band jazz stuff. And we were both drummers when we met. And we played in junior high school in the stage band and the orchestra together playing drums. So I miss my buddy Larry. And he passed 9 years ago, 8 years ago, I guess. And, I'm the last man standing in that band. It's kind of a bizarre, I guess I'm like the McCartney Ringo of the Overnight Flight Silencers. So, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. This one is emotional in a different way. This is not someone who has passed on, but someone I don't see. Probably my first long-term girlfriend I met on my trip to Israel when I was confirmed in 1970. I was 15, 16 years old. In fact, I celebrated my 16th birthday flying back from Israel to San Francisco. And I met Judy. Judy was my girlfriend. If you've seen my videos that talk about memories of a vinyl junkie, I think I do mention her and have some pictures of her. And we went out for a good 3+ years, which is a lot when you're 16 years old, 16 years old. And she was a year older than me, the older women thing. Judy was a lovely woman, beautiful girl. We lost touch over the years. I'm friends with old girlfriends, but that's a whole other story I won't get into. But she gave me this, my first Butcher cover. I never had a Butcher cover up until she gave me this on my birthday in 1973. August 23rd, 1973. Happy birthday, Norman. I give you this album with much joy and happiness. She actually wrote on it. That's kind of the joke, which is not a joke, but she gives me a friggin' Butcher cover and she writes on the back. But that means it means a lot to me. So I want to thank Judy. I have 2 Butcher covers. This is the first one. It's got a little piece of, this was taped on over the cover, but still, it means so much to me. But she fucking wrote on it. But she wrote some really lovey-dovey stuff. I love Judy. I mean, how can you, right? I don't think I was even mad when I got it at the time just because I was so joyous and stuff. But what a sweet gift. She searched this out. Pre-internet, 1973, my 19th birthday. And then we broke up, I think. Was it later that year? Yeah. Okay. I worked, my friend Vernon hired me, and Vernon was a manager of the Record Factory store on Irving Street, right near Golden Gate Park in the inner Sunset in San Francisco. He hired me because I said I like country rock, that I love the Byrds, and he hired me. I was a young kid. I was, 19 years old, and I remember the first promo, not the first one, but one of the early promos I got was this album, Late for the Sky, promo copy. I remember when this came out, I really didn't know who Emmylou Harris was because stupid me, even though I had the first 2 Graham Parsons albums, on the back it says, Graham Parsons with Emmylou Harris. I didn't make the connection. And Vernon was all over this record, and Emmylou Harris loved her. And the Warner Brothers promo guy came in and gave him a copy and some things. And he actually asked the promo guy, and I remember being there, can he have a copy for Maslov? And he gave me this copy. And a year and a half ago, we lost Vernon, a good friend of mine I've known since 1974. This came out in 1975, but so I'll always remember my buddy Vernon because of this album. And what a beautiful debut, and what a beautiful golden voice. Love her to pieces. And lastly, this is an album that my friend Coleman is sick, and him and I met in 1973 at the Warehouse Record Store. We ended up working together. He used to come in and we'd talk about Jefferson Airplane. That was his favorite band at the time, or a band that we used to kind of discuss. And then we needed help at Christmas time at the Warehouse, so we hired him because I said, oh, this guy knows his music. And we've been friends ever since. He started an R&B band over 40 years ago called Pride and Joy, party band. He books them. He's a guitar player. He's got these great 4 African-American singers, soul, R&B, funk. They do parties and weddings and corporate events, and huge. I mean, the Bay Area, they've been huge for 40 years, very successful. Well, Coleman got sick in the last little over a year now, literally the start of the pandemic, and he's still sick, and I went down to see him. I'm probably going to be going again soon, and unfortunately, well, he's my only friend that stuck with vinyl all the way through in terms of high-end and audiophile stuff. He has an LP, LP12 Lin turntable, high-end speakers. He's into the whole audiophile thing. I'm not even where he is, but he knows every pressing, original UK Beatle albums he has, and King. He's a big Kinks fan, and he brought this album to me on one of his visits, and it's a great audiophile record. This is Dinah Krall live in Paris, and if you've ever seen the video performance, I believe, of this and this record, it sounds amazing. Of course, she's now married to Elvis Costello, great jazz piano player. The Beatle connection here is her and her band backed up Paul McCartney at Capitol Records for My Valentine record, the oldies kind of standards album that Paul McCartney did, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whenever it was. Great piano player, beautiful recording. This is a QRP pressing, acoustic sounds pressing, fabulous record. That beautiful kind of lounge jazz stuff, but it's really, really good. And I want to thank Coleman for this, and I hope my buddy gets better. I love him to pieces. He is he's one friend that's visited me every year since I moved out of San Francisco in 2014, and every summer he'd come up for 10 days. Last year, the pandemic, and of course this year, the 2 that he's missed. So I'm saying my heart goes out to Coleman. I hope he recovers. I hope he gets better. And I love you, buddy, if you're watching this. But anyway, that's it. This is for Steve Carlson, and it's emotional, this stuff. But I think this was an emotional time for you. I know this is an emotional time for you, Steve. So again, I don't care about being part of the contest. So if you want to put me in, send my winnings. We'll pick someone to send them to. But I just love you, babe. Babe, can I call you babe? And I love all your kindness to people, and you're what my people call a real mensch. Look it up, Google it. You're a mensch, Steve. Thank you. Mazzy loves you.